Welcome back, everybody, to the NLC. We have our fourth match of the night coming away, and if you're new, it's not our last match of the night. If this was a spring split, and the fourth one, you'd have been winding down, been tucking you into bed and saying, "All right, we're ending the stream soon." But nope, got another game after this as well. Tricked versus Dusty will be our fourth match of the night, though. Tricked looked pretty good on their opening debut yesterday. They had a really solid early to mid game, and Jamada, I know you were sort of heaping praise on them coming into today, and into a matchup versus Dusty. They probably come in as the slight edged favorites here.
Yeah, I do agree. I think on my predictions, I may have put Dusty down, but that's, just, you never know, curveballs happen. But I do actually, I was very happy with how Tricked played yesterday. I thought, all in all, just like you just highlighted, the early to mid game was really stellar. And I'm hoping to see a continuation of that, really. I do definitely think that, for me, Madly on the weak side, because Tricked were playing a very heavy weak side, strong side type game style, and sort of dictating the pace that way. I feel like he definitely died a couple too many times. So hopefully we see that dialed down a bit if Tricked opt into this very sort of funnel resources into the Voxney type playstyle. But for Dusty, honestly, I think they're probably likely to do the same thing, try and sort of focus on this bottom side. So I think, whoever secures a stronger bottom side draft right here, I think they're going to come out with an edge, especially if they have a jungler which is going to be able to sort of keep the enemy bot lane in check.
And so far, because I'm pretty sure a lot of junglers are going to go unchecked completely, like the Udis, the Morganas, the Brambles, we could potentially see another ADC first pick right here, something like the Jinx potentially locked in for the Voxney, because all the major problems for a lot of teams, such as the Renekton's, the Lee Sins, the Gwens, have already been banned and out the way. So I wouldn't be surprised trying to make sure that you lock down a really, really strong ADC. We saw how Granite was able to turn the whole game around when that Jinx got going.
Yeah, and I also do think a pick for Den Voxner is the Kai'Sa, which he, honestly, I think last split in the UKLC on London, it was probably his most played champion. And whenever he got it, it was just lights out for the enemy team almost every single time. And I think Kai'Sa in this meta, albeit I don't think she's necessarily the most B1able champion, I think she fits in with a lot of the diving playstyle that I think is probably the strongest way to play this game at the moment. You draft loads of agency and engage, and Kai'Sa is one of the few AD carries that can actually play that kind of playstyle with her divers. So wait and see. There are still quite a few champions up. Morgana, like you say, the Udyr has not really been touched on this patch, which has been, or so far these first 2 days on the NLC, which has been a bit strange to me. But time is ticking. Trick. There's plenty of options really for them. But I'm looking at this Kai'Sa. I think they might actually B1 it. But no, okay, we're finally going to see Udyr.
As you said, you cast the curse, the Udyr gets picked up B1 here for Tricked. The Rumble ban obviously does kind of like bring some extra junglers out of the woodwork. We've seen a lot of Rumble today. I wonder if Morgana is something that we see just as a result with the Udyr getting locked in. That was also something that we saw a relatively popular matchup in the MSI.
Yeah, and I certainly think it's one of the few champions that can keep up in tempo with Udyr on this patch, just because they've kind of slowly nerfed all of the remaining junglers, and with Rumble, of course, banned and not available, I think it makes the most sense. And wow, we're finally seeing a Tristana as well. So that's another pick. We've kind of seen varied presence so far the first 8-9 games of the NLC. Very strong duo between the Tristana and the Morgana. They're just able to skirmish on the top side if it does end up being jungle Morgana, which it should be, and then of course it's solo interest.
So I really just like the fact that they picked the Tristana here, because I've said over and over again how I believe that MTest can win lane, and this is what he did last season as well. He's an extremely strong ADC, and giving him so much agency on something that he can push the lane, he can dive the lane, he can fight in lane, he can roam with Tristana, go up the river, help the Morgana, make sure you secure vision, you're always safe because you're always pushing. But of course, we mentioned about the Voxney and his Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa does generally suffer in the early stages into the Tristana matchup due to you having very short range. Tristana blow-ups really mess up with you getting close to wave and trying to CS. So I would like to see possibly MTest and Baloo trying to abuse that as much as they can in the early.
One of the things that I'm kind of seeing here is the fact that we've got Lucian clearly going towards the mid lane here for Paulson. That was a pick that he popped off on yesterday, by the way. I think it was part of the reason why I think Tricked actually had such a good performance. But you're boxing yourself in a little bit to a heavy AD comp. So you're already starting to see a sort of a single damage profile. I know Kai'Sa is a bit of mixed damage. Like you can maybe say there is a bit of mixed damage coming through from Kai'Sa, but she is really dealing primarily physical damage. So you are boxing yourself in a little bit already, and that might make Dusty have better options when it comes to like building up a front line. Like even if you went like set mid plus something top, like you could have a really beefy front line that could be difficult for a full AD comp to go and take advantage of.
Honestly, I think if you ban away Malphite here and something potentially like a really hard tank, I think you will be absolutely fine. Like Lucian paces through, Kai'Sa's more of an assassin style, so wants to damage to your backline, assassinate your AD first, and then she's gonna deal with the more bulky members. Morgana, yes, she can build Seekers into Hourglass, but she will always be extremely squishy, she will never go tank, and then you just have to deal with the set that's gonna be zoned away by the Udyr, potentially as opposed as the Nautilus or the Leona or the Rel, whatever they're gonna choose to go with, together with Trict's composition. So I think it's absolutely fine from what I'm seeing right now from the sort of Dusty, but I really need Trick to ban out the Malphite here, or is this could potentially be a problem if something like a Malphite Blaster, Orianna get locked in for Dusty.
Yeah, you could go set support clearly, right? So
yeah, there is still that opportunity for Set to go support. I will say, as Gulborg has highlighted in our chat, M-Test was actually the one that piloted the Tristana yesterday, and Warzy, I was also going to highlight, is the kind of player that, to me, likes his control mages more, and I was going to say, I've always kind of known Warzy for being pretty proficient at Zoe. Tricked have kind of recognized that and put a little bit of respect on his name with that ban, and with the Syndra lock-in, it just seems like we are probably going to be getting the Tristana bottom lane on M-Test, and now we're just waiting to see where the set's most likely to end up. So Tricked, they've still kind of got to do a little bit of guesswork here, looking to try and lock in a matchup which, you know, does well interset on the top side, and then also a support that can help facilitate the bottom lane matchup. I would expect maybe a Leona to come out from Lucky, or maybe even a Rakan, but I think it's a bit risky to run that into Morgana plus the Syndra at the same time. So I think the Leona for the engage option makes a little more sense, and top lane pick now for Madeline.
Potentially you could lock in something like the Camille here. Morgana struggles against it, Syndra struggles against it, you lock in Tristana, you've got the backline dive together with your Kai'Sa to follow up with a Leona ult, and we mentioned again, the full AD scenario does not matter, but Nocturne has gone through and he's also a problem. He also gives backline access, lights out, Lucian jumps in, Kai'Sa jumps in, Leona jumps in, Nocturne jumps in.
It does the same thing as does the same thing as Camille. Yeah, Malphite to me would be something that would be like, okay,
it's set.
Okay, Alistair. So I mean, Alistair is a tank, right? But I did like the idea of set support Malphite top, and you just go full armor Malphite, and you just like, okay, like he's gonna play. I mean, you've got to play defensive ults if you're playing Malphite, but he's not getting locked in, so it's not going to be the case. Very heavy AD comp, but as you mentioned, Trouble, heavy dive. They could eventually, could essentially make armor irrelevant anyway if they're kind of snowballing the game regardless, right? So good comp from Tricked. Jamada, what are your thoughts on these two comps heading into game?
I think the damage profile doesn't matter if you're allowed to just press a couple of R keys and remove somebody off Summoner's Rift. I think it's only going to get tricky once, you might see itemization, like the Zhonya's come out from Warzy, and then of course maybe like sort of Guardian Angel, very hyper late game for M-Test. There are a fair amount of really nice peeling tools available for Dusty, but when you've got this much dive and this much engage available to Tricked, Dusty have to navigate these kind of like teamfight scenarios, make sure they're never sitting on vision pretty much perfectly and all of the time. Otherwise, they're just going to get jumped on from, 3,000, 4,000 unit range away. There's
going to be a lot of pressure on Alistair and Morgana this game to really provide that correct timing on the peeling as well, which will be really important. But let's see. I mean, Tricked, again, pulling out the aggression. They did it yesterday. Going to do the same thing today here against Dusty. Let's see how they fare up. Fourth game of the night. Casters are ready. Let's go.
We are ready indeed. Getting ready to go into game number 4 between Tricked and Dusty. Gulborg, what are your thoughts right now going into this game?
Yeah, I mean, we said the same thing yesterday. It was like, oh, this is Tricked with a almost full AD composition coming into this one, but they just had such high pressure that the enemy never got to a point where it actually mattered, because that's the thing when we talk full 1 damage profile, is that you need to get to the late game where your third item has come through and you actually got armor, because when they played yesterday and had full items, like, they demolished their opponents when they were only sitting on their mythic items, and they did not have the luxury of being able to afford the armor items because just falling so far behind. So what we want to see from Tricked is the same high pressure gameplay that we saw from them yesterday. Now, Dusty, I think they need to adapt a bit. I think they were very slow on their plays. Yesterday, they had the nearly jungle, but I think they had a lot of opportunities to set up a dive with some of the pressure they had, but just never went for it. So I think this time around, if you're not proactive with what you have, it might fall, like, just bite you in the bottom, because you have a lot of skirmish potential here. You got the Syndra stun, you got the Morgana binding, like, there's a lot of CC layering, you got the Tristana to play for, and I just want them to be able to use this agency specifically in the early game as well, all around small skirmishes as soon as you hit this level 6.
Well, as a quick note, just going into this game, unfortunately there has been a technical issue, so
no way,
getting ready to go, unheard of, right?
That's crazy.
We'll have a little bit before we just get going into this game, but it's hopefully one that won't take too long to resolve, so you just have to bear with us while we get ourselves sorted and getting ready to go into the game. So I think, we got a bit more time to fill here, Goldborg.
How do you feel, Jake? How are you?
I'm all right. I'm less hot today. I think I've made...
Yeah, me too, actually.
I don't feel like my brain is melting in my head right now. It was really hot yesterday. It was like 28 degrees during the day, and my as you can hear, as cars are driving by, my window is open because it's still pretty warm. But
well, we can't hear them. I think you're the only one who's able to hear them.
Okay, for that. There was definitely one earlier today, which I saw my microphone light up when they went past, because people like to race on my road for some reason. Well, yeah, it's nice.
Meanwhile, during this time as well, I think we can introduce our viewers to what is a lovely website called Twitter, where you can remember to drop a follow on the NLC LOL. So meanwhile, we are in this time, and you don't have too much to do. Just give it a little follow. See what kind of memes we're posting there. It's pretty good.
I'm not gonna lie, like, genuinely, our memes are great. Whoever does the memes for our channel is way better at their job.
I think it's Mecha.
Whenever
it's
I make a meme, it
Mecha.
doesn't slap as hard as the NLC.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good.
The Scoundrel one that you told me to watch, which, if anyone missed the beginning of the show and didn't see any of that, just go watch it, because Scoundrel's internet, everything just had a meltdown. Jamada phased into 120p.
It was lovely. If you want to see me naked, I'm there as well.
Yeah.
I guess that's the thing. If someone's into that.
It's free. People normally pay for that stuff, man.
Absolutely free.
It's completely free. You're looking good. You were looking good in it. That's all I'm gonna say. You're working out on the beach,
Yeah, I mean,
I'd wet my whistle. That was good.
It was quite heavy with the backpack I had, because we were packing all the different stuff. I keep different outfits, and I had the weights with me as well. And while it was only 2 kilo weight, it was like 2 of them, so it's 4 extra kilos to the backpack. It was the football, it was all the clothing, it was different equipment. Like, it was a really heavy backpack at that day, but it was genuinely really fun.
I don't think the weights really contributed that much to it.
They did.
I bet when you started taking those wet clothes home after you
that was horrible.
That's gonna be
that
heavy
was horrible
and smelly as well.
I actually used this UK suitcase for that, so I packed everything, and then I had my backpack, and then I traveled with the suitcase in hand. So it was not as tough, but the problem was that I had to go get tested again, because I had to go to another event, and here in Denmark you need to have something called a COVID pass, which is like, if you want to go out and eat, you just need to show, hey, I'm negative. And then you go, and I needed to go out and eat, so it was horrible. I think I was walking around for an hour with all that equipment, but you don't have to hear about that anymore, because it is going to be Tricked Esports versus Dusty here, finally ready for you. And remember, we were talking about some of this early proactivity. Oh, there we go. That's
we go.
That's the correct one. Yeah. English not my first language. It's hard. All right, you wouldn't get that.
It's my first language, and I still mess it up more than you do, so it's fine.
That's quite true.
It's my only language. I have no other way of communicating, so I just kind of make sounds and wave my hands.
If you could learn another language, which one would it be? And you can answer that question after you read this MasterCard Nexus Insight up for me.
Dusty's coach Flash was the coach of Kick Esports in the Polish Ultra League last spring, where Kick finished second and qualified for the European Masters 21 spring.
I didn't know that.
Getting better at reading. We're improving my reading skills doing these MasterCard Nexus Insights. So thank you very much for that, MasterCard.
Yeah, that was a good insight. I actually didn't know that. Thank you.
These facts are good. Keep them coming. I like them. Jamada did answer kind of right. I
kind of predicted it to be that way. In my mind, I always knew what it was going to be. But
he typed in Japanese. I'd love to learn Japanese, just because Asian languages are vastly different, with new alphabets and things. If you ask me to if you were to narrow it and let's say European languages, I'd actually kind of like to learn French. I think French is a very beautiful language.
Oui. And that's all I got for you. Now,
what would be your European language? Because I'm assuming you'd probably also be something like Japanese or...
I mean...
Give me a European language you'd want to learn.
I think Spanish. Yeah, I'd probably try and learn Spanish. It's quite cool language.
Spanish is a nice language as well.
Yeah, honestly, I think the second one I would try to learn actually would be French as well. So you got me there. Now,
it's if you ever heard an English person speaking Spanish, we just sound even more British. I don't know why. English people speaking Spanish, we don't do it. We just don't. It just sounds awful coming out of us. We don't make Spanish sound elegant.
It's just awful in general, isn't it?
All right, we're on the riff. At the moment, we are seeing Zombie accruing himself pressure in the lane as Madly is now going to receive a whole bunch of punching from Zombie. Zombie showing us that he's very good at the punching, man. Played it yesterday. Pretty good performance from him on it in lane.
Yeah, solo killed Wazer as well yesterday. So, I mean, had some solo pop-up performances as well. And he does have Xavier pathing up towards this top side, which is going to mean he's going to have him in the back. And you can actually see with the wave pressure he gained himself in the early game, he is able to utilize that into a cheetah recall. So we'll be gaining an extra Doran's Blade in the lane here as well. So good start to him. Now, on the upper side of the map, you can see it's kind of mimicked with Trick being able to slow push in the bottom wave here, and then just Taxa being able to start up the Scuttle here. But obviously him being an Udyr out clearing the Morgana, nothing really new here. Question is he going to be able to double scuttle this one? Because you can see with Zombie recalling for that cheetah, Madly's actually able to get up there and spot out Xavier before he started this scuttle. But you can actually see on the minimap, Taxler's just recalling. Baloo, though.
Yeah, Baloo's going to take a whole lot of hurt here. The Void Stack's on the Ignite. Is in there. Baloo, one more auto for going down.
Flash,
Burning.
flash.
That's a beef burger. Denboxy gets the kill. Into the stun now as M-Test is looking to get turned on to. Holy moly.
And I like the little wait there from Denboxy. Just outside of tower range, Flash is in there. M-Test thinking he's going to have the power to actually killing afterwards, but no, Denboxner held onto the exhaust. He's able to get out of that one, even forcing the flash from M-Test after that exchange, just giving them all the bot lane priority. You can see Denboxner close to being doubled the CS of M-Test right now. M-Test had to recall after that exchange. Way too low. And look at the gold. 4 minutes into the game, 1k ahead already. Trick. Denboxner, 800 ahead of M-Test. That's a statement in a matchup where a lot of people would expect the Tristana to come out on top.
Really, really solid stuff going in from Lucky and Denbox. This is that kind of power of the Leona and the Kai'Sa. Leona obviously helping stack up those void stacks, and it does a lot of damage. It really does hurt different. As Paulson makes his way back to mid-wave to catch this here. Has obviously gone for a base and got himself the Colts. The pickaxe and longsword onto Denbox. It's just the longsword of M-Test. So a pretty significant difference between these two AD carriers as far as the flat raw damage they're going to be able to do. And it's probably going to be a pretty rough laning phase for M-Test and Baloo now. No summoner spells other than that Ignite onto Baloo. There is a flash still up on Lucky.
And we did see a small nerf to the Halo Blades, but you can actually see both AD carries have taken it. Oh, you need to be a bit careful here, Lucky. Xavier is in the back, but so is Taxa.
He's going to miss the binding, and that might be the go button. There is a black shield, though, so probably not feeling it.
Yeah, but look at this freeze just outside of Torrent range, so they're still going to keep the wave in a position where they're fairly close to the tower. So they're always going to be safe here from Trick bot lane. They're not going to be afraid of Xavier even turning up. And with the mid lane pressure now from Paulson, you can see he's making his way down here as well. And they're just making sure the Dusty's bot lane is not able to get anything whatsoever forced back to their own tower. And just going to clear out a pink ward that Taxa put down, but it's still this pressure that we're talking about they're going to be experiencing. Paulson once again on a comfort champion like Lucian. We saw what he was able to do yesterday. As soon as he got that Gale Force, it was just solo kills coming out from him, and he's already having a good start with the pressure coming in to facilitate his bot lane, really. And with this pressure from the bot lane, with the pressure from the mid lane, they're able to take a very early dragon 6 minutes into the game.
Yeah, Gale Force kind of makes you an assassin on Lucian. It's really nuts, actually. Paulson was basically assassinating people last game, yesterday. As Dragon gets picked up early here for the side of Tricked, much quicker than our last game where XL took, I think it was 13 minutes before they got their first Dragon. Definitely kind of returning more to that proactive Dragon play we've seen for the rest of the first week. Games have been pretty high tempo, pretty short like game times mostly overall, apart from that one game we had with Granite Resolve that went for 40 minutes.
Yeah, that was a bit of a slow one. Well, it started out slow. It really was a banger.
It was a long game, but it was the best game we've had so far.
Yeah, that is for sure. I think for Trick, what the next game plan for them is going to be is that they really need to have high priority on Herald. Obviously, most of the time, you always want to have that. But with a full AD composition and with the amount of pressure they're able to access on the map, you just want to make sure that you keep going with these small leads that you get here. So I think that at some point in time, Trick should probably think about their option, get a wave stacked, and then just move their bot lane up towards that top side of the map when Rift Herald respawns, so you can make sure to keep the snowball going.
Look at this positioning from Trick. They've got 6 on Denvoxney. They are itching for the opportunity to jump forward and just try and blow M-Test up. He does have his exhaust, but no flash, and Baloo only level 4. You have to be careful, though, because Baloo can just headbutt someone away, and now M-Test is there. They can just disengage the pair of them, or one of them at that time, so... But now, it's like we are going to cool off a little bit here. Now, Lucky probably just wanting to hit 6 himself. Should beat Baloo to the punch on that one, as he does just hit 6. But with the wave crashing, I don't think Tricks are feeling like getting too angsty here. They are just going to go for a reset, pick up a Noon Quiver and some wards.
Yeah, and I honestly would expect it to see Tricks send someone up towards the Rift Herald here. There is a world where you could just keep the Voxer down in bottom, but I think if you really want to secure this objective, him having this early game lead is going to be absolutely monumental. And you can see they are moving their members up there after a quick lane swap. And as I talked about, Rift Herald is being started up now. You can see the rotation is actually being answered by Dusty, who's moving M-Test and Baloo up there as well. So we could potentially see a skirmish around this. Remember, there is a small goat lead for Trick, but right now that's all in Denvoxney. So Dusty now could fancy their chances.
The paranoia is being thrown down, and he's going to slide in already. The cow has been caught out. The solar flare lands onto everyone. Denvoxney waiting to jump forward as the unleashed power is there. And Denvoxney's looking for the assassination. Sawyer being chased down. One more auto attack as Polson is gifted the kill. It is a 1-for-3 in favor of Tricked.
It's honestly just good understanding of what they need to do with their composition for Tricked. Exactly what I'm telling you right now is what they need to do with their composition. Like, they are playing a composition where they need to excel in the pressure they have around the map. You could basically see it all the time. Paulson, infinite priority in that mid lane, pushing in bot lane with Denvoxney and Lucky. As soon as they back, move them up through the mid lane where they have all this pressure from Paulson and just start up that Drake. And then you commented on it yourself, Jake. They were very... Oh, did I say Drake? Drake?
You said Jake, don't worry. You got my name right.
Yeah. But I meant the objective. We don't care about you. But what I want to say here is that Denvoxney, as you talked about yourself, very patient when he jumps in. Wait for M to start it up here and then actually just leaving the kill onto Paulson where he knows he's going to get it. And then it's just reset time. Like, you get the Herald, you put it back. One thing I will say, though, is that I don't think you need to get Taxa, the Rift Herald. I think there is a world where if you want to inject more gold into the AD carry, you just give it to him. Because you know that he's already your driving factor. He's already going to be the lane that you're playing for. So you might as well give him the solo goal with that Herald. But, you know, it's just an old habit that the jungler always get the Herald. But I think it is time that we start seeing more solo laners, or just laners in general, picking it up for more better injection of gold.
We did see it earlier today as well, and I can't put my finger on which AD carry picked it up, but we did have one of our ADCs earlier pick up the Rift Herald and use it to great effect. So, yeah, I think it is a thing that it's slightly dated. I guess it's kind of like for the junglers, it a bit feels bad, but you know, they have to spend their time securing this objective, and then someone else gets the gold and reaps the benefits of it. But at the same time, if it benefits you, it benefits me.
Well,
the outlook for the teams as Baloo is able to spot Taxa out here. He's going to summon the Rift Herald, and Lucky's going to solar flare onto him. They're just looking to try and zone him away from this tower.
But here's the thing, right? See, now Denvoxney is just down here in this lane by himself, and this gold he's getting from Rift Herald, you can see they're trying to make him get it alone, but, well, there you go. He shared it with Taxa. So I feel like a lot of teams need to make the adaptation of saying, oh, we're actually playing for AD carry now, and just start doing that instead, actually. It also kind of makes the setup for objectives a little awkward because you have one less sweeper in your inventory. So it was actually easier to set up Vision.
Olsen just about surviving that from Warzy.
He does have flash. He could try and fancy himself a bit here. Oh, they're not stopping over here in Dusty. They want to go in.
Yeah, they are looking for it. The chains are coming. They've got everything sliding in. Denvoxy just runs away from everyone who launches into him, and he gets the kill as well. There's the slam down, and this is going to be the turnaround as Zombie gets the face breaker off. Max is able to survive for a while, but the teleports are coming in, and Warzy, low HP, has to be careful. Paulson's putting that damage into a Zombie. They have to use the exhaust. The scatter lands. The Zenith Blade lands, and the pole headbutt onto the 2 carries. It looks like that Trick can't continue the chase, but they are going to go for it. The Ignite does the damage, and that's Denvoxy cashing in on yet another kill as M-Test and Paulson are just running towards this tower. M-Test is out of there. He's to safety. But Tricked are the ones that reap all of the benefits from this.
Yeah, they're just so far ahead right now. They have so much gold onto the walls, their carries. They have all the priority. And Madly, very intelligently, just decided to use the paranoia under that fight. Both so they can split up the fight. They can't see too far because of the paranoia. But also so people can't join in with the teleport. Because as paranoia is active, you can't teleport. So that was just really well played by Madly. He didn't have a teleport himself, but he knew he could get plating. He knew he was going to split up the fight. And here we see it. Right, so look at the TPs. One comes in. Paranoia starts getting channeled. And Syndra can't actually join with the TP. She has to walk herself in there. And that's going to take a longer time, which means that they're able to pick up the first kill. Now, I think there is a way where Taxa almost gets away here. But with the TP coming through themselves here, it's really easy for them to pick up the rest. I think Balu is the unsung hero. Getting that pole is really good as a disengage, and I think you just need to run out of here.
Yeah, well, back into the action, and the culling onto Warzy is just melting his health bar. It's another kill for Tricked, and that now puts them 4,000 gold up, 5,000 gold up. I swear I can do maths. You can see where that gold is injected. 2,000 gold lead in the mid and the bot lane right now.
I think what's really impressive, obviously, Denvox has got a lot of gold, but I think it's so impressive that Paulson, without having been played for, is so far ahead as well. It's all through the pressure of him facilitating the side lanes as well, but also just through his sheer laning phase. Like, he's such a stable laner, and he's able to get so much out of his own mechanical skill.
Yeah. And Denvoxy's going to be able to take down this tower as well, so he's going to be able to step away from that one and continue to shove up and accrue himself more and more gold leads over M-Test. As M-Test will be able to take this bot lane tower, will be uncontested on that one, but now it looks like Tricked can just turn their attention towards this mid lane. I have to see when they're going to try and pull that trigger. Obviously, there is no Baron up yet, but there will be a Rift Herald spawning fairly soon. So the resets are probably going to come in, spend that gold, and then look to turn it towards that as their next item. As Denvoxy, wow, just chills the base. Serrated Dirk, Zeal, attack speed boots to M-Test, who hasn't even finished his mythic yet. We'll get it on this base though.
Yeah, they will, but like you look at the rest of Dusty right now, and it just looks like a yard sale, really. Like with what they have compared to Trick, way more satisfying having a look at that inventory. And what I think we should see from Trick there is just that you put your bot lane into the mid lane to get the most out of the pressure. Make sure that Paulson with his leads can be a side lane menace, and then just set up for this next Drake. 1 minute and 40 seconds till it's spawned. And that's going to be soul point, Jake. Like, they started out taking the first Drake 6 minutes into the game, and they've just kept it going since. So high octane gameplay once again from Trick, and it just kind of seems like that's been the keyword for them, or it is going to be the keyword for them this season.
I like this. I like this proactive, fast play.
I agree with you. I think specifically for this meta, this is what's good.
No, absolutely. We've seen it play to great effect. We've seen it, play to mixed success so far. But it does feel like at the moment, if you are the aggressive team, you are the team that do pull out ahead. And I'm curious to see how over the next few weeks things will adapt and what people will pick to either try and stunt these fast aggressive teams, or if we just get sets of these aggressive teams and it's just like a bloodbath for 20 minutes and then the Nexus explodes. That's my hope. That's what I want. But we'll see what the solutions will be.
Yeah. So you can see Trick now back to standard formation. They have put their bot lane into the mid lane, and they have their solo laners out in the side. So they need to be a bit careful here.
I think Lucky might just die here. Taxa places the Rift Herald. I think that was a bit of a misclick from him. They should be able to stop this Rift Herald now. They're doing their best to clear through the wave. I think Taxa just completely fumbled that.
Yeah, and Paulson got solo killed as well on the other side of the map.
Oh, yeah.
No, top side.
Yeah, I know. I'm seeing the death timer, buddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what happened for Trick there, but it seems like they just kind of... Yeah, a minor slip up there. Really not something that you can allow yourself. This should have been your Drake. You have the gold advantage. You have the item advantage. And yeah, this is just insane. Dusty, honestly, getting away with murder. This should never happen, but they're able to punish Trick being out of Trick being... what do you say? Out of... I actually don't know.
I'm gonna let you brew it.
I hate you. I hate you.
Yeah, there we go. How's it feel?
Because they are... The thing is, like, they are doing the correct thing. They need to have the mid lane, the 3 people in the mid lane. They can push out the side lanes, but you need to be able to communicate that the rest of the Dusty is not there. And then you can't step up like that in the mid lane. Then you need to apply the pressure in the side and then move the rest of the members in. And I just think they were off tempo a bit with that one. It seems like Paulson a bit too far forward in that top lane, and Madly, honestly, a bit too far behind with that mid lane wave in the bottom. Not really in paranoia range either.
Well, we see that tower does go down in the mid wave. This means Trick now 3-1 in the tower score, 5,000 gold up. Items have begun coming in. I'm assuming we're going to see Denvoxney now finish up his second item, which will probably be that Phantom Dancer. There it is. Collector should be next on the menu for him with this build. And M-Test is just sitting on a Kraken Slayer and a Crypt Cloak. So it is a significant difference between our 280 carries. As Denvoxney has also leveled up to level 11, so 2 points into that Killer Instinct. You can just see the gold graph, well, not the gold graph, but the gold differences between our two players, or our two teams of all the individual players. And it's significant right now. Tricked are very much in a commanding position, and it's on them to keep it up. Now, there was that fumble in the mid lane. There was a dragon that was lost, and this now means that Soul Point is now 25 minutes-ish around that area for Tricked to worry about, 25, 26 minutes into the game. So it does slow that down, and it buys Dusty a little bit of space. It gives him time for Remtest to get some levels and to get some range. Remember, Tristana, as she levels up, gets more and more range, which means eventually you'll just be able to outrange the Kai'Sa, providing he doesn't just jump into your face.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. Like, I think it's so pivotal, and Worsey could be looking on Paulson here.
Oh, Paulson just able to survive, and actually went aggressively forward, thinking he might go for a bit of a turnaround with Taxa at his back, but they decide to go and think a little bit better of that. One stray orb would be enough to kill him.
But it just goes to show that you can't disrespect Dusty at this time. Yes, you are very much so up in gold, but in a one-on-one setting on this Syndra right now... Oh, God, okay, never mind. This is...
You're saying disrespect? I think that there might be a disrespectful Syndra who's about to get caught out here. You can Black Shield all you like.
Yeah.
And Madly gonna make sure that he slides in and Paulson secures the kill. It's now Baloo will find Lucky, goes in for the headbutt. Pole didn't actually expect to see Denvoxney there. As the Solar Flare lands onto a couple of members, and Denvoxney's doing some serious damage onto the backline. M-Test able to get away. Sawyer gonna get the chains off, but that is gonna be Taxa securing the kill.
I swear we've seen some unlucky Black Shields for the course of this tournament so far. But Liu was the one who got Black Shielded, and he had the Unbreakable Will if he wanted to go out. So not the best situation there, and no jungler, meaning that they'll just turn onto this Baron. Mid lane are still dead. TP is up though, so they could be looking for a fight.
Zombie's on in. Can he get that slam off? He's looking for it. Baloo gets the headbutt off as Zombie low HP right now. Has a big haymaker, flashes in, goes for the slam, and Paulson's down. Zombie's able to secure it. They do get stun off into Baloo. Baloo goes for the headbutt pulp. Warzy now stepping forward is just going to step away, and Dusty, unable to stop the Baron Nashor, do find themselves a kill onto Paulson, but at the end of the day, it's not enough as the scatter by Warzy only pokes Denvoxney. It will not be threatening.
Yeah, for sure, but we are starting to see some cracks in Trick. Yes, they get the Baron, and make no mistake, this is obviously really good for them, but it's the way it's done. It's still not as clean as it possibly could have been, but gotta give credit to Dusty, not backing down for a fight at any point in time, and now that you are starting to get some items, they are starting to stack a bit of armor. Not enough to make you kind of think, oh, they went full AD, this is just too much. But they have got the Seeker's Arm God, they got some Ninja Tap Eyes, and perhaps, as you talked about earlier, with the Drakes being so far away from Soul, they can hold on a little longer to potentially get to a point where they can remain competitive from the side of Dusty. But here we just see the replay, and once again, Zombie with that full haymaker flashing in, getting the suplex as well to just assassinate Paulson, really. But after that point, there's really much not to do. Not much to do.
It was flashy from Zombie, but ultimately it didn't really gain too much other than stripping the Baron from Paulson. But we kind of expect to see Paulson probably just playing with Denvoxy now anyway. Dragon spawning up in 20 seconds time, and tricked to the fact that they got these Baron minions just escort down into the wave means they can pretty much guarantee mid prio, especially with that tower down as Warzy gonna stop watch the solar flare, but the bear slap will follow up, and now they've got the paranoia. Denvoxy has someone tanking the tower for him as Paulson comes in with a culling, and for the moment Sawyer's just able to survive, flashes away to safety, and maybe a stray W from Denvoxy might be enough to secure a kill onto Sawyer, but not gonna find it.
He does still have that killer instinct, so is for sure still a threat, and they're just so far ahead right now, Trig. I feel like that was some good mechanical outplays. We saw some Dusty as well, a good pulverize from Balu to keep the disengage up, and the fact that no one from Dusty died was really good, but at the same time, Tricked, once again, so far ahead. They are still getting everything out of these plays. Get 2 turrets, gets onto Soul Point now, and almost 8k ahead now. Still looking really good for Tricked.
Olsen just dodging the Scout of the Week this time, as MTES will pick up a tower here. Taxa waiting in the wings. Might look for a quick pick onto MTES. Didn't see if Sawyer was there. Now Lucky's coming in. It looks like Sawyer's just going to sacrifice his AD carry here. MTES goes for the Buster Shot. Well, we'll have to go for the Buster Shot. Only able to hit Taxa, and Paulson just splats him.
And I love the little thing there. You see Bolton back away a little bit, just so he won't get hit by the AoE pushback from the Buster Shot there. So really nicely done by him. Small mechanics, making everything out of any given time, really. And once again, Baron has fallen off now, but that's not going to detour Trick from just trying to get rid of your outer turrets now. I think we are going to be waiting some time, potential the next Baron before the game is really going to go down, but we might even see the point where Trick is just so far ahead that they're going to just decide to just try and ram it down before that even happens.
We'll have to wait and see for now, as obviously the Baron has worn off, so they can't really push too aggressively. You're into a Syndra. Some pretty significant wave clearers then. Voxney standing on the blast cone. An auto attack could have delivered him to death, but I'm going to go for that one. And it looks like the resets are just going to come in. The gold's going to get spent. Most likely going to see Denvoxney finish off his Infinity Edge when he gets back to base. It's just a full reset here from Tricked. 3 minutes away from that soul point. Denvoxy's base actually gets cancelled, so he's going to have to stay on the rift a little bit longer. He's not able to sync up with the rest of his team on these resets.
Now resets, as you talk about, coming through 3 items onto Paulson. You'd only imagine that Denvoxy is going to be finishing the Collector now as well, as he will be backing, and it's only going to make matters worse. So it's actually going to be the Infinity Edge straight up. No Collectors needed here. Just going for that pure damage. And 1 minute.
That serrated. It was obviously early serrated for
the Q level up.
For the Q level up, but like at this point, do you need a Collector?
I mean, he's just getting rid of it. Like, he's collecting them no matter what anyway. And now we're just going to be looking at Trick trying to get the pressure, trying to get the vision, and then, you know, just trying to secure that objective. You can see now, Lucky did just expend all of his wards, so he's just recalling now, potentially getting an extra pink ward as well, as you can see in the inventory, getting refill, getting those wards refilled as well. And now it should pretty much be ready to start the final push, what you'd imagine be the final fight of this game between Dusty and Trick. Dusty, they're not in a point right now where they're ahead by any means. They need to be creative about something. They need to be finding a pick with the Dark Binding, with the Scatter of the Weak, with the instantaneous damage you can get out of them, because that's, realistically speaking, the only way they're going to be winning this coming fight.
They have burst damage. They do have that when you've got the Tristana and obviously the Syndra offering towards that. But it's I just don't know if they're going to be able to find it. That's my real concern right now. Paulson,
it's tough.
3 items, got the Hurricane, so a rapid fire cannon, so it has a bit of extra range to work with. And Denvoxy, 3.5 items right now on the Kai'Sa, an entire Affinity Edge up over his counterpart, and a serrated Dirk.
They're recalling again. I think they're just saying, you know what? We don't actually care about the Baron. We got the vision around it. The real objective boss right here is just going to be this Drake instead. So you can see they're all recalling. Then Voxney just went back. Bought a stopwatch. Just, you know, for that extra security. Paulson as well. Stopwatch in inventory. They realize how they lose this game. They realize that if they go down, they might throw the game. So they're just making sure that whatever happens, they get some extra space to work with.
Well, the Dragon spawning up in 40 seconds. It looks like the attention is more towards this Soul Point than the Baron for the moment. Soul Point, obviously, that Infernal Soul's going to be really, really big for them. I say Soul Point. This is Soul.
Yeah.
They're already on Soul Point.
It's more like they already got those 3 Drakes, and 20 seconds now onto this one. Last minion wave will be pushed out, and you can see Dusty. They don't really care about this mid lane. They're trying to stack up around the bot lane. They're trying to see if someone is going to bite, someone is going to walk off too far forward. It could be Taxa.
Gonna force Taxa to flash there.
That was fast. Good reactions from Taxa. Really fast.
Yeah, really, really quick. Now Paranoia's on. They're going to jump in with the Zenith Blade. The Culling's already landing, and that's just enough to one-shot Sawyer. Paulson, what the hell was that? That's going to be the flash forward from Zombie onto Paulson. M-Test now going to lose his life. It's then Voxney looking to mop this team fight up. Taxa is now just chasing onto the rest of the team. It's a triple kill for Paulson. A teleport forward, and Warzy on the wrong side of the map as Madley will chase him down. The Void Seeker will connect, and then Voxney will slide in for the ace. Tricked, just wipe Dusty off the map.
And once again, Trick, they're so convincing about their victories. The second time in a row, they've gone with a full damage profile, and it's worked out for them. And it just comes down to this high-octane gameplay. We saw some more flaws in them this time around, but obviously, you don't mind that when you're still being so goddamn convincing in this endgame.
And Sawyer gonna try for the ulti, but will lose his life as M-Test trying to get a kill onto Dem Voxney. Not gonna be able to do so through the exhaust. The Zombie's trying his hardest to find a kill onto the AD carries. He does get a nice base break off, but Madley's just looking to close the game out. Zombie, there's a lot of stopwatches in this game, and that will be another kill to pad Dem Voxney. 8-0-8 on the Kai'Sa, 7-2-8 for Paulson. Overall, a fantastic game there for Trick. 29-minute victory over Dusty.
Yeah, and you know, I kind of started the day by predicting Dusty as an accident, and I kind of promised the Trick staff that I apologize. I did put it out on Twitter that I meant to pick Trick, so I'm just saying that.
No, you didn't.
But yeah,
right.
yeah, I did. You can go back to my Twitter. The Twitter is right here. Go down to my Twitter at, and you look at what I wrote. All right, and after you've done that, we can have the conversation.
Whatever you wrote on Twitter's not true.
Yeah, all right. So to everyone at Trick, I'm very sorry. You know what I meant. All right, good job. You won.
He wrote Dusty. I just put it out there.
It was a mistake.
We typed it. I can see what he types when we put our predictions.
There is no way I betrayed Denmark. Go. All right. Move on. Break. Do we have a break time? Hit break. Don't get to talk. Let's go to a break. Let's watch some ads. Let's go. Shut down.
Don't stop. Don't stop, gotta get it going. Keep it moving, won't stop. Rhythm overflowing. Don't stop, gotta get it going. Keep it moving, won't stop. Rhythm overflowing. Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop. Don't stop. I want you so you are my cue, my living law, perfectly pure. Sometimes I need someone like you. Sometimes I just don't have a clue. I don't need anyone, need no one. I want to be the one. Now I run. We have time forever mine for no one else. You are in my mind. We have ourselves, nobody else. Forever yours, you're my partner in crime. Come on, what have you done? We are alone. We have this song where all my beliefs they're gone. Give me the cue to have more fun.
Tricked continuing their success off day one, playing two relatively similar style comps as well. Full dive, and as you both correctly said, didn't really matter about the mixed damage profile issues when you just blow them up. A huge amount of damage coming through from Paulson, and obviously coming through from Kaiser as well. Then Voxnay having a barnstormer on the champion that we know he played so well through the split of the UKLC too. So I mean, there's a great draft from them. They executed on it really well. Never really felt like they were out of control trouble.
I honestly really enjoyed the pressure that Paulson can generate through the mid lane, and then it sort of bleeds through to the other lanes. And when we talked about, Jamada talked about that R press button, you saw it at the Herald, and made sure that they secured the Herald. They're like, why stop here? We've got the superior draft, we've got the superior early game. They just dived in, piled on someone, killed 2-3 people. Then they went for the dragon. They took the dragon. They're like, why stop here again? They pile on another few R buttons. They kill more people. And slowly but surely, they started choking away the map out of Dustin. And it just worked. It was like seeing the same game as they played yesterday, but I think even better.
Well, we actually have Paulson standing by, ready to chat to, so I'm going to bring him in. And first of all, Paulson, congratulations on a 2-0 start for Tricked. That's wow, we are just seeing the top half of your head.
Oh, really? I'm gonna change.
Paulson, yeah. Good. Congratulations on a 2-0 start to the split. Like this, it's a good start for you and Tricked. A lot of talk about kind of like how to play the meta, and that's what I kind of want to probe you on how you guys feel the meta should be played, because it's clear you have kind of a draft identity from the last two games. You kind of play very aggressive mid game. You kind of do a lot of dive and engage style compositions. Is that the way that you feel as Tricked? Is this the best way to approach the game right now?
I think this style of play is like really about punishing the enemy's mistakes. I don't know if it's like the best style, but a lot of my teammates really like the style, so I'm just fitting along and like committing all in, so we all five on the same style. So I think it's like really good at punishing and pulling like the trigger, being like proactive as well.
Yeah, and I think that both the analysts were saying, there were some questions. A lot of people put a lot of stress on this mixed damage profile thing. Like if you have an AD mid laner, you need to have an AP jungler, or if you have like an AD mid, you need to try and bring. That didn't seem to bother you. Is that something that you just said, well, do you know what? By the time they're buying armor, we would have won the game anyway. Is that kind of the way that you approach this?
Yeah, I think it's like a lot of people talk about you need AP, but a lot of cases that's not really true, because the enemy champions cannot build armor sometimes. In this game, maybe Zed could, but that's like the only one, or maybe Alistar. So we don't really care, because like Seekers is hard nerfed, so mages don't really have any armor items to build. So even if you're a full AD, it's like doesn't really matter, because AD items is so strong and armor items is so weak.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you keep talking about you having to adapt to your team, right? You said that they like these very aggressive, all-in sort of, we press our buttons, we just kill someone, and if we don't, we just try again. And you fall sort of out of that category, but you're like, cool, I'm cool to fill in if that's what they want to play. Can we expect a lot more different play styles coming from you?
Yeah, I think we can play every style. I think the team is very open-minded. So yeah, I think we're gonna keep changing it up and like always trying to find like the best picks and just making them work.
So Gulborg has asked me to ask you this, Paulson.
Okay.
And I have to say something that I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly. Via Rother, via
Yeah.
And he also asks, how much did Denmark impact your win today?
Yeah, I mean, you're supposed to say like Via Røde.
Yeah, okay, there we go.
Vi står sammen, side om side.
If only we could see Google, he's probably sitting there with his
got the
Danish cup,
biggest
his Danish
grin
hat
on
on, his
his
little
face.
Danish headband
Yeah.
on.
But I
mate.
mean, it feels good. I mean, it was fun to play versus like a lot of Swedish players as well. My old teammate Baloo. It was always fun to play against old teammates, and I hope he does well this split as well. So I hope Dusty will do well.
Yeah, I mean, you guys obviously off to a great start. We're looking forward to seeing how you progress through the split. Getting wins early is really important for those top 3 spots in the group, so you guys are doing well. Anyway, Paulson, thanks for chatting, mate. We'll see you next week.
All right, thank you. Good day.
Right, so we've got 2 minutes, lads. 2 minutes, and we're going to get to the drawing board. So I believe it's Jamada again. So I'm bringing Jamada in for the drawing board.
It is I, Professor Jamada, once again. And so I wanted to highlight this fight because this is kind of one of the tipping points that kind of happens in this game where it just starts to get very difficult for Dusty to really do much. Now, Warzy and Paulson have just butted heads in the mid lane. They both exchanged ultimates, and I can't quite see under the overlay. No, they both have flash in this. But the key thing is down here, you can see Dusty. They're actually looking to try and get an engage onto Trick to have just started up this dragon. Well, I say just started up. They're trying to execute the dragon at this moment in time. And you can see it's, of all people, it's actually then Voxney that gets caught out by a combo, I believe. Oh, no, there you go. So he gets caught by the combo, but you can see the Nocturne ult comes down because Set is teleporting, and currently Nocturne doesn't have teleport. So Nocturne's doing his best here to try and aid his team on the opposite side of the map by at least causing a dark screen, causing the near side effect, so that at the very least, Dusty have to kind of fight in darkness. And at this moment in time, you can see it's currently basically a 5 or a 4v3. And once Syndra resets and returns, it's still going to be a numbers disadvantage. Well, Paulson does still have teleport, but I'll get the clip rolling. And even though you can see then Voxney was the one that got jumped onto, he uses his ultimate in such an amazing fashion to just basically dash right through every member of Dusty straight back to his team so that he actually has a front line to work with. And from this point, the kiting is really, really strong. They managed to pick off the Morgana, and even though the ultimate from Set rather comes down and Facebreaker does eventually lock down Taxa for M-Test, they've wasted so much time that Dusty now kind of have to retreat into this choke, and Tricked, they don't really care. You can see Lucky just kind of goes in, the Ignite ticks down onto Warzy, and the return damage is there, and it's prominent enough to actually take him down. They also burn down the Alistar, and it's just a very clean engage and use of the Nocturne ultimate from the Nocturne. To kind of put Dusty in a position where they didn't necessarily know what was going on in that fight from start to finich.
Yeah.
Honestly, when you pull the Nocturne ultimate as well, it sort of creates chaos, right? You're like, wait, I thought he didn't have ultimate. Does he have ultimate? Because sometimes, a lot of times, Nocturne will put the paranoia down and then they will TP into the fight. So they give time to their team to adjust, and then they appear out of nowhere or from a flank. So I think it was really well played. Like, he couldn't join, but he was technically there in spirit.
Yeah, and you both said you loved that comp from Tricked in that game. Both executed it the way that you set up in the draft phase. It's always nice to see teams follow through on the way their draft is meant to be played as well. And it was awesome for Tricked to kind of get that second win. And we've got one more game tonight, and it's actually another banger. It's Riddle versus Galaxy Racer. I think this is going to be a relatively close affair. I'm very excited to see these two teams match up, so don't go anywhere. We're back soon.